speaking, I'm a very rational person, always have been. But you would wonder, how then did I stay a Christian for 25 years?
Actually, the more important question is, how then do you claim to be a rationalist and still follow a religion, Hinduism, for which you have no basis of explanation at all? Whenever I ask you anything about Hinduism, you say you are not an expert in Hinduism. Then how do you follow a religion without understanding it fully? Your understanding of Christianity is far more than your understanding of Hinduism. Then how do you claim to be a rationalist? That is a more serious question that I want to know than knowing why you stayed as a Christian for so long. There may be a lot of reasons, personal reasons, emotional reasons, maybe irrational reasons to be a Christian for so long. That's irrelevant. Why are you, after being revealed about all these dangers and confusions about religion, still remain in a religion that is not in any way better than the previous religion that you have been following?
Well, I stayed not because I lacked the ability to rationalize, but because I was afraid to use my rationalizing ability. Afraid that I will invoke God's wrath if I did that.
For someone who is claiming to be a theologian and who has been trained to be a Christian apologist, this comes as a surprise to me. When the Bible speaks about doubt, it always speaks about in two senses. One doubt is the theological, intellectual doubts, which is actually encouraged. Why do you think there is a separate field of study in Christian theology called as apologetics, where the whole point is to really answer these doubts and questions that are being asked against Christianity? Is there any other religion on the face of the earth which has a separate field which is completely dedicated to just answering the questions? The apologetic field? Yes, every religion has an apologist. That's a different thing. But is there a separate branch of study called as apologetics in any religion where they're entirely dedicated to answer questions about doubts and confusions in theological, intellectual, historical, scientific sense? Is that maybe I'm not aware of, but I think Christianity has a very strong history of apologetics right from the day one, right from the book of Acts, from the time of Paul, who has been reasoning with Gentiles, the Greeks, the Romans, and the philosophers of his time, to the present day of apologists like William Lane Craig, Hugh Gross, or Josh Rasmussen, or many other people who are in academia, in the scientific field, like Francis Collins, James Tour, or way back in the olden days, which is where you seems to be suggesting that they were opposed to doubting. The very field of rationalism, the very field of trying to justify religion, trying to justify theology, starts from a Christian worldview. The very fathers of modern rationalism were Catholic priests. Rene Descartes, Francis Bacon, Enlightenment thinkers, all of them were Christians. So I don't see where this kind of idea comes from that the Bible or Christianity discourages doubts, questioning in an intellectual sense. We do see in the Bible that God is opposed to doubting within a framework of faith. Let me give you an example. When Zechariah, who was the father of John the Baptist, was doubting that he would have a son, Gabriel punished him by making him mute till the child would be born. And for the claim that doubting is being vilified in the Bible, it is not. Most of the great heroes of the Bible were doubting themselves. Abraham, Sarah, Moses, Gideon, Elijah. Elijah was doubting to such an extent that he wanted to kill himself. Right? He was not sure about the plan that God has through him, that he wanted to be like, just let him die. That is what he asked for. So this is a kind of a scenario that we have in Christianity, that doubting within the framework of a relationship with God is certainly not acceptable. It is like doubting your parent or doubting your spouse, something like that. So that kind of a doubt is different from the intellectual and theological doubts that are very much welcomed. And in fact, there is a whole field of study in Christianity where this field is being, this kind of doubts are being dealt with.
The Christianity not only discourages asking questions, in fact, it demonizes questioning, at least back in the day. But it definitely demonizes questioning, doubting.
The denomination that you are going where vilifying doubt, but it is not the case in the Bible or Christianity and Christian theology.
So questions are seeded in the mind by Satan. Okay.
Where is it given in the Bible?
Christian is to love the Lord with all her heart, her soul, her mind, and strength.
Yes, it is right there in the verse that you are quoting. God is asking us to love Him with all His heart, all your strength, and with all your mind. The word mind literally, when translated in the original Greek, dianoia, means to thoroughly assess both sides of the situation and to have critical thinking. That's literally the dictionary definition. And you are not able to see past your bias and understand that the verse that you're quoting is actually contradicting what you are saying.
When she does that, questions don't arise in the mind, it's presumed. But if they do, it means she's not loving the Lord with all her heart, soul, mind, and strength. She is to brush aside her doubts. And if they persist, she is to pray harder for strength to defeat Satan. Because questions are from Satan, remember? So doubt is vilified in Christianity. Remember doubting Thomas? Thomas is infamous for his alleged doubt.
To be honest, Thomas is not infamous for his doubt. He is actually famous for his doubt. And on the contrary, neither the disciples of Jesus Christ nor Jesus Christ himself or the angels of God condemned Thomas for doubting him. In fact, Jesus appeared before him after his resurrection specifically to show his hand and his feet and asked Thomas to verify it before believing him. If he was really against doubt, why would he do that? Your whole case is destroyed by your own quotations of the Bible verse.
So Thomas is the guy, one of the disciples of Jesus. So when Jesus resurrects, and he appears to these his disciples and a few other men, Thomas likes to touch Jesus's wounds. So this is what the Bible says. So I would say Thomas was infamous. He was infamous for his alleged doubt. So Thomas is vilified a lot.